I'm one of the fortunate ones to have access to a lot of games. Now, you may call it a blessing or a curse, depending on how you look at it. I own games digitally, physically. I have access with Xbox Game Pass, PC Game Pass, Games with Gold, EA Play. Why not take 6 games, play through them, and give my thoughts on them instead of them just sitting unplayed? This one is a special one because there was a cheat code found out recently thanks to NRS1, and Brain Explorer 66 on PSN profiles. Xenon Valkyrie is a roguelite platformer. I usually stay away from platformers, but this game seems to go on sale a lot, at least on Xbox. That's why I had it. Normal price is $10, so I wait for a sale. To me, I think the game looks bad graphically and it has awkward controls with the jumping. Thanks to the code, we get a max health. We do a lot of damage. If you enter the code again, it seems to heal you, so which is needed for the final ending because that boss can like one-shot you sometimes without that max health. I will link down below the guide I used to find the correct path to get the ending and all the achievements. It's not too bad. Thanks to the cheat code, the completion time is down to 2 hours now. This is something I wouldn't have played much because it seems very hard if you played it normally. I probably would have just played it for a little bit and then just deleted it and never went back. I heard good things about this one and people were right. It's a neat little game. The art style may be a turnoff for some people, which I understand. Don't be fooled by the cutesy art because there is some more mature language and themes in the game. This is an adventure game that sort of reminds me of those choose your own adventure books, but the failed paths are canon, or at least the knowledge gained is canon. It's a neat idea, and I was following a guide and skipping some dialogue, but this is a nice game. The narrator has some great voice acting. I wish the main characters had voice acting, but I get it, it's an indie game, not a lot of budget for that. Following a guide will take around 3 to 5 hours, or 5 to 6 if you're just playing it normally. And if you want to read all the text and soak in the vibes of the town, I would recommend this one. It's on Game Pass still. I would highly recommend checking this out. Embarrassingly, I forgot I even had this game, even though I recently bought it in a sale. This is a cute, short, forced scrolling platformer with 6 levels. At first, I was struggling with it because I barely go out of my way to play platformers besides some made by Nintendo. Annoyingly, these levels do not have checkpoints whatsoever, so it can be a bit frustrating because the levels change each time, so you can't retry from a point where you failed. This one will take you around an hour 30 or 2 hours depending on your skill level. The achievements, there's none technically missable. There's one that you only can get in level 2, that's with the rock enemy. You gotta make them fall off the edge, but you'll get that without trying. Finally get to play this thanks to Xbox Game Pass. I feel like the trailers oversold the grossness factor compared to the full game. It's a great looking game and has incredible atmosphere. I do wish there was more lore inside the game instead of it being in the art book. It's a horror puzzle game which can be disappointing for some people. There is some combat, but you still have to treat it as a puzzle. There's limited ammo, you got limited health. And I know there's a patch coming, but there's some checkpoints that are non-existent. I don't know if that update came to the consoles yet. I know it was on PC. Sometimes you can run past certain enemies. Now, I did follow a guide for this. I heard many people were stuck, and I don't have the time or the patience for that anymore. This is a game where it definitely doesn't hold your hand with its story or whatever you're meant to do. I heard people like taking up to an hour on the first puzzle. It'll take you 3 or more hours with a guide and many more if you play without one. I found the ending to be very flat and left me disappointed. I did go out of my way to look it up, but like there was people with explanation because they have the art book. And it's sort of better, but I wish that was just in-game. I hope the devs can make more games like this and take the criticism and improve. This one I really wanted to pay just by the description, and it didn't disappoint. It was originally made for Apple Arcade, but this is a great console experience. Crashing crashing in Antarctica during the Cold War, figuring out what happened there, learning the story of our main character. The art style is pretty striking. The animation reminds me of rotoscoping. The voice acting is great as well. You can really feel the emotion behind some scenes. The gameplay is somewhat limited. You walk around, look at stuff, choose emotion options when given the choice during dialogue. I was totally engrossed with the story. I found the ending satisfying. It is a bit steep at $13 for 34 hours, but I highly recommend it. With the achievements, there is some missables compared with the collectibles, but once you go back and play the game again, it'll keep track of which ones you've already picked up. The last one for today is the Assembly, a VR game that was made its way to consoles, flat screen consoles, in 2017. It definitely feels that way and looks that way. Playing it, I don't think I missed much by not playing it in VR. It's another first-person adventure game with some puzzles. I found it pretty interesting. You play as two characters, and that somewhat have intertwining storylines, but they go in opposite directions. Personally, I wish they focused on the rogue Dr. Pearson storyline and just focus that instead, because the secondary storyline with disgraced Dr. Stone was so... It was interesting, but I don't think it fit the game. Dr. Stone may or may not get a job with the Assembly, privately funded science lab who deal with many questionable ideas and experiments, and that's where those puzzles come in. It's an interesting world, and I can see it if it was fleshed out more. It could be a nice immersive VR experience. This one will clock around at 2 to 3 hours. I thought it was an enjoyable experience. So just played 6 random mini games, got to 6,000 gamer score, took some hours, took a weekend, played a bunch. Pretty easy. I'll do some more of this. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.